Welcome to Jurassic Park.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I'll be back.
I'll have what she's having.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Here's looking at you, kid.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello, I'm your host, Jim McCullough. Welcome back to another episode of More Than Pixels on a Screen, a podcast brought to you by the Banterflix Movie Review website, where we try our best to talk everything other than movies. And eventually, after around about an hour and a half mark, we finally get around to talking a little bit of movie-related nonsense. Joining me, as always, on this recording is my lovely co-host. It's Adam Watts.
Hotland, Jim.
That was a bit of a delayed reaction, Adam.
I know, but last week I was trying to do a bit, and then this week I was doing another bit on top of a bit.
Fuck, I don't know if these bits are... Here, mate, I think you need to go back and sleep on people's sofas.
Here, mate. Those were the good old days.
Yeah, listen back to the previous podcast. 16-year-old Adam making it. And joining us on this podcast is the lovely Claire McCullough from Lit to the Tit.
Hi, guys.
Hiya, Claire. And we should, in full disclosure, admit, you and Adam, no, you go way back. Mm-hmm. So, Claire... Adam, we just did the TV show. We've walked over from NVTV to our studio here in Belfast, right in the heart of the city, Banter HQ. And Claire's been filming me in on all your kind of banter from the years.
Well, mate, Claire's my oldest friend.
Aw.
Yeah.
15 years going strong.
Is that... I think it might be 17 years now.
It's been a long time.
It's too long.
But guess
too long.
what,
We
Jim?
don't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? We're still here, but
Still happening.
still happening.
Still happening. So, Claire, we've had you on the TV show before. Do you want to tell our listeners who might, as I always say, could not be arsed putting up with any more Jim McCullough-related nonsense that they have in their life? They listen to Q Radio for Newsman Jim. They watch NVTV. They're like, oh, fuck, too much. When they're listening to radio, they've never heard you, never heard of Lit to the Tit. Tell us all about your lovely self. Sell us your wares.
Okay, well, Lit to the Tit are better known...
Claire went really 80s there. She's like, oh, okay then.
All right.
Why use that voice?
But yeah, so Lit to the Tit are better known as Literature to the Tit.
Lit to the Tit.
A female-only Belfast-based book club. It started out like nearly 5 years ago now. We have monthly meetups where we have a book of the month. We all get together and have a lot of crack. It's kind of like...
on this pod, it might have a Laura crack.
A Laura crack. Yes, I've heard all about that. So we do that.
When you knew Adam all those years ago, was he a big Cilla Black fan?
Honestly, he had like a shrine to Cilla Black downstairs. Like as soon as you do know the way like some families have like Jesus, there was Cilla Black in his hallway.
Literally, it wasn't even just a statue; it was just Cilla Black
It
herself.
was Cilla Black. It was well, you know one of those massive cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
Like life size that are like 50 quid.
Yeah.
One of them.
I just kept referring to anything me and Claire did as this should be on an episode of Moment of Truth. That's a Cilla Black reference for you. Claire's going to be like, the fuck you on about? But Jim's loving it.
Yeah.
But
I'm old, Adam, that's why.
Do you know instead of like, do you know the way like Jesus had like...
Oh, she's going big.
Christ.
She's going big. So 4 minutes in...
Jesus had like the...
He had 12 disciples.
12 disciples, but also like
and here he was great at parties, turned water into wine.
He did, but he also had that thing around his head.
Diabetes.
Halo sort of vibe thing. And instead of the like halo with like all the knives.
Caps. You know, one of those drinking caps that you have, you can put the 2 tins of beer in. That's what he had.
It was a nacho hat.
Yeah.
Well, Adam had one with like fairy lights all around Cilla. It's absolutely beautiful, great.
It was like the end of Hereditary, but it was Cilla's head.
I was picturing more Midsommar.
Yeah, that kind of vibe with a boa as well, feather boa.
Sexy.
Cute.
I'm not surprised, that she and Todd and all stopped phoning.
Well, see, to be fair, back then when Claire had seen the shrine, Cilla was still alive.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say, like, killed or anything.
Yes, so sorry, we digressed a lot there. So Claire, back to the tit.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. So it's basically a female book club, full of wholesome activities, not so wholesome activities, and just really a lovely community for girls to get to know each other and make new friends.
There you go.
It's fantastic. It's
There you
good
go.
crack.
You've been going, as you say, for 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years in July.
And do you want to tell at this point, where can people find you on your socials, etc., and any events coming up that you want to sell your wares shamelessly at this point?
So at the end of this month, we actually have a collaboration with Belfast Book Festival, which is incredible. I think I was actually speaking to you about wanting to do this whenever we were planning our Mean Girls event. And I said I would love to do the Belfast Book Festival. Well, now we're doing it. We've bloody well gone and done it. So we're doing a collab with them at the end of the month.
Mean Girls was more fun, though.
Well, you don't know.
You
don't
have to
know.
go and
Mean
find
Girls
out.
was more fun. I can't. Girls only.
Well, it's not. It's unintentionally girls only. Guys just have never wanted to come.
Well,
Claire.
sometimes you have to ask, Claire.
But yeah, no, guys, it's never really been. I don't know. Do guys read?
We don't come and we don't read. Hey,
Do you want to join a book club? We could definitely make this a book club for all of the genders.
Lit to the balls on.
Yeah. Oh my God, that could be cool.
As soon as Claire comes out of this room, she's like, "That's not happening." as soon as this podcast recording, she's like, "Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, cut that,
cut that.
Not happening. Yeah,
I mean, welcome to join, but there's never been an interest
because boys don't read.
because boys don't read.
Boys don't come.
Yeah, don't cry either.
And unless I'm proven otherwise, I'm right.
That sounds like a threat. I will read this book.
Yeah, fucking read your books, boys. Read your books, boys. So yes. So where can people find out? Where can people find on the socials?
Literature to the Tit, or at Literature to the Tit on Instagram.
There we go.
We could spell that out, Jim, but we don't read, so...
No.
Or spell. Can't spell.
Can't spell. Can't come, can't spell.
Can't spell, won't spell.
Yeah, what can I say? That's good old Oma Academy education for me. Me feel English, that impossible. I think with that, enough of Claire selling her wares. I guess, Adam, I don't know
Yes, ma'am.
if you fancy a bit of Cilla Black nonsense this week, or by any chance, have you been chatting to your lovely uncle?
I was across the seas, of course.
Okay.
Globe-trotting,
Yeah.
like I want to do. And
Hey, Claire, do you know the way you know Adam so well? Did you know he had a famous uncle?
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
see?
Claire tweaks on.
You all think I make it up.
I knew. Yeah. He comes round all the time. He's also a massive fan of Cilla Black.
See, Claire's adding something to the canon I didn't know about. But of course, as you know, I'm wanting to do. I've started recording my phone calls.
Yeah.
As actually somebody else rang me today.
In the world we live in, Adam, it's good to do that.
So exactly, somebody else rang me today. Because we were talking about Rocky Horror. An actor called Tim Gravy rang me and talked to me for about 10-15 minutes, and then I realised that Tim Gravy didn't really have a great comedy bit, so I just deleted the phone call.
Good lad.
But you know, future character.
Prefer Tim Mayo myself.
Was actually a joke I made on the phone call. Anyway, here's
Great minds think alike, Adam.
Here's a phone call between me and my uncle Liam.
Hello? Hello, Adam. Hello, Liam. What's happening? Hello, young son. I just thought I'd call you up, like I want to do every couple of weeks, as if it's some sort of feature on a podcast. And I thought I'd run an old joke by you. I think I'm getting quite good at telling these humorous tales, you know. I was on set the other day, and I had people cracking up at just all the jokes I've been telling you the last few weeks. Now, when you say cracking up, were they getting angry or were they actually laughing? It's hard to tell sometimes, but people are respectful, especially for a man of my age. Well, that's very true, Liam. You think a man of your age would know more jokes, but if you want to crack on with your latest attempt, please do. Right, this one, it's a local one, so you'll enjoy this. there's a young Irish Catholic girl, and she went missing one day. She was gone for 5 whole years, and when she came back home to her mother and her father, her dad says, where have you been? Why have you been gone so long? Why didn't you write? Why didn't you tell us where you were? Your mother's been worried so much, putting her through such agony. And the young girl says, sorry, I was so ashamed. I didn't want to tell you. But when I ran away, I became a prostitute. At that second, the dad got up and says, get out of my house. I never want to see you again. The girl turns round and says, look, I understand if you don't want to see me again. But just know that with the money I've made, I've bought my mother a fur coat, and I've bought my little brother a Rolex watch, and I've also got the deed to a mansion, and I've got, just for you, Dad, a new Mercedes-Benz, and I've also parked a yacht down by the Riviera. If you don't want to see me again, that's fine, but all of these could belong to you. And the dad stands up and thinks for a second and says, prostitute? Well, that's all right. I thought you said Protestant. Come on in, give me a hug. Liam, is that sectarian? Just wanna put it out there. Well, I don't know. I'm a Protestant man myself. I don't really get the joke, but a young Irish man told me at a bar once, and everybody was giggling and guffawing. There was a little fat man in the corner slapping his feet. That's how much he was enjoying it. Okay, right, Liam. I think that's probably your time over this week on the podcast. So if you want to ring again, maybe in 2 weeks' time, that would be great. Tell young Jim that he's got a cracking pair of pipes on him and a cracking hole. Right, will do. See you next, not 2 weeks' time, okay? Okay, good night, son. And from one reason to another, I love you. Bit of a weird stand-off, but okay, bye.
I think Liam must have forgotten that I was on the podcast this week. I'm quite surprised he didn't have a message for me. I'll try my best not to be offended.
Let's see. Well, you know, he rang me a couple of weeks ago. I guess save the.
Yeah, fair enough.
He didn't know.
Fair enough.
It wasn't done. Maybe in a couple of weeks you'll get a mention.
Here, Claire, you never know. He might ring you next week.
Hey,
I'll be waiting.
Hey, could be worse, Claire. You could be heading round to meet fellas. Could be heading round to meet fellas, meeting old Marty Scorsese. And I think on that note, it's time for a word from our sponsor.
Hello there. Welcome to Meet Fellas. I'm Marty Scorsese. No, not that one, but we are related. Now, I like movies just as much as the wee cousin in Hollywood, but there's one thing I like more, and that's great meat at fantastic prices. So come on down to the shop here in Castle Street. We've all the sausages, ribs, steaks, even those fancy kebabs and chicken villevant things, but none of that vegan shite. So, I'm Marty Scorsese. We don't do any of that promo code nonsense here at Meat Fellas. If you're listening and you want enough meat to get you sweating, get down to the shop here and just tell them Jim and Adam sent you.
So that's a word from Marty. We're not getting him in the studio as much these days, Adam.
Like we said last week, he's a big money man now.
He is. The money's made. We're into the good weather. I don't know about you, Claire, but I was sweating in the NVTV studio when we were recording earlier on. So I'd say a lot of people are now the good weather, and we've had the good weather over the weekend. People are starting to think about barbecues, so might have to maybe get a new ad from Marty. The key thing is, because Claire's looking very confuddled, because she's like, Marty? Who's this Marty? It's like Marty Scorsese is sponsoring this pod. Now, not that one, Claire.
Which one?
Well, you know what? A lot of people have this discussion when they think about Marty Scorsese. Which one is he actually talking about? Because when I sat down with Thelma Schoonmaker, it's like, actually, I think I've sat down and talked about the wrong interview with the wrong Marty. I mean, I'm talking about our butcher around the corner at Castle Street.
Yeah.
Meat fellas, great meat, great prices, and none of that vegan shite, as Marty says. So, he's not that Marty Scorsese. They are cousins.
I'm just very confused that there's two people in the same family with the same name.
Cousins happens all the time.
Does it? Right, okay.
Happens all the time. Second or third cousins.
Second or third,
so you've
right.
got the juniors and stuff. You've got James Bond Jr. He was named after his uncle.
Pac-Man Jr.
Yeah, sorry that I took a wee bit of a blip there.
I actually walked past Meat Fellas the other day.
Was Shazzy about?
I could smell her. And Marty had in the window... now playing on Netflix, Baby Reindeer. Also, if you want Baby Reindeer chops, $7.50 for 4.
Good lad.
That's not a bad price.
Good lad. I tell you that Marty knows how to market stuff. So that's that. I know we have another interview this week we're going to play shortly. But Claire, since we got your lovely self on, we thought we would let you pick the movie we're going to talk about in this week's show. So this is the point where you tell our listeners the movie you've picked and why.
Oh, I can feel the patient.
Yeah, so the movie that I picked for this week was Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is one of my favourite films of all time. Not only one of my favourite films of all time, but one of my
More than
favourite
Knives Out?
musicals of all time.
Do you love it more than Knives Out?
I do. I loved it
listeners,
before.
Claire couldn't decide. It was either Rocky Horror Picture Show or Knives Out.
Sorry. It was also between. So it was between Rocky Horror Picture Show, Knives Out, La La Land, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, because I've got a good range, guys. My taste has no bounds. Eclectic, some might say.
And of course, Claire, it's the perfect pick because who was the person that introduced you to Rocky Horror?
Well, so I'm not sure if you guys know, but Adam Neeson introduced me to Rocky Horror Picture Show whenever we went to Belfast Met together. And so I thought
he just rocked in one day dressed as Frank-n-Furter and said, "Gotta watch this."
I specifically remember you and your lovely sister Megan watching it, and you texted me, be like, "The fuck's this?"
Yeah. Do you know what? The first time I watched it, I was like, "This is absolutely insane." And then I think I watched it the second time, and I was a convert. I just love Dr. Frank-n-Furter. I love how he represents like the id, the impulse.
He's a sexy fella, that Don Tim Curry with them legs.
Absolutely incredible. And do you know, he got so fed up with the makeup artist on set that he decided to do his own makeup.
Oh, pretty good.
He did that all himself.
Claire's been on the old IMDb trivia. There we go. That's the facts we're going to get. So, yes, 1975 classic Rocky Horrors. Now, Tim Curry's a Disney princess, isn't he?
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Yeah, technically a Disney princess, in the same way the Alien Queen is a Disney princess. So this is the adaptation of the stage play written by Richard O'Brien, who, of course, is here as Riff Raff. We have Patricia Quinn. I have a lovely story about Patricia Quinn I can say in a bit. We have, of course, I will wait for the inevitable interjections from yourself. So we have Susan Sarandon as Janet. All right, kids, I'll say it then. Slut. Anytime you mention Janet, you have to say slut. And then we have Brad Majors, asshole.
I've never been to a live show.
Oh, kids. Okay. So that's it.
I have actually been to the live show, but
the reason why I know about all these, so when Banterflix started doing screenings many, many years ago, and I was saying to Claire, we were coming over from NVTV, haven't done them for a while, love to get back. I know we do the festival. Rocky Horror was one of the ones that we had on our list that we were like, right, we can't just do that out of the bag, straight out do it. We wanted to build up, get confident doing it, because people go in with their expectations of what a Rocky Horror screen was going to be. So it was Halloween the year before COVID. The year before COVID, the fun years, the banter years, as we like to call that now. And there was myself, my lovely wife, dressed up as Janet, and got very confused why people kept walking up to her and going, slut. Slut. We had the lovely Gabrielle Ridio, and of course we had Joanne Alexander. Were cosplay, a great night, and it was absolutely fab. And I remember reading up about all the kind of various things that people do and cliches, like, you know, when people have toast. There's a toast in the film. People have to have toast, not drink, but literally bread toasted. They all hold up. The sequences at the start when they're running through the rain, you know, you have to have the water pistols. So the rule was you have the water pistols at the back, and you have people with the newspapers at the front. We were sitting in the black box, and there was like a lull for about seconds. And I always remember it because I was really nervous that night, because that was, of all the screenings we'd been building up to do. And it's like, right, okay, we're not doing a sing-along. A lot of people were doing a sing-along. We're going to do one where it's like you come in, and these are what are apparently, according to the internet, which is all things truth, that this is what you have to do during a Rocky Horror screen. All these kind of things that people have to shout out and stuff. And that sequence, when they're running through the rain at the start, when the breakdown, and at the back, so as I say, all the back tables had water pistols. The front had the newspapers. And it was like, people aren't doing it. They're not doing it. It's not. And then, I know it sounds cheesy, something magical happened. And for like maybe a minute, 2 minutes, all hell broke loose in the black box as people just went mental with water pistols and people trying, and it just was like, and then I was like, oh fuck, this is going to get out of control. Then as soon as the scene ended, everyone just sat down, carried on watching the movie. And that's when I think of Rocky Horror. That's always the thing I think about. And I think of, well, there's other things I'll come back to later on. I got the chance to do a Q&A many years ago with Patricia Quinn at a con here, and we stayed in touch. I was over at London a couple of years ago for the film festival. We arranged an interview. I'll tell that story. Maybe I've told you that off air, Adam. I don't know. I'll tell it now for the first time at some point on this pod. Interviewed her, absolutely fab, and then through Rocky Horror fell in love with Shock Treatment, which I imagine we will talk about in this pod. Have you seen Shock Treatment, Claire?
Claire looks in disbelief of being like, why are you bringing up a random movie, Jim?
Yeah. So
Shock Treatment?
Why do you
Tell
think
me
we'd
more.
be talking about? So Shock Treatment is the sequel of sorts to Rocky Horror.
Do you know what? Haven't watched it.
And I'm going to say
Sounds a
something
bit
controversial.
shit.
I actually love Shock Treatment more than Rocky Horror.
Can I say something, Jim? And we'll both hold hands. I agree with you.
I love Shock Treatment, and Shock Treatment is way ahead of its time. It's only now kind of getting us, I think, was it Arrow released it a couple of years ago?
Yeah, there's a nice Blu-ray of it.
And I think there has been a stage play adaptation of it. I know Robert J. Simpson, who's a massive Rocky Horror fan. I know he went over and seen the Shock Treatment live, the stage play of that. He said it was absolutely fab. So, yeah. So, Rocky Horror, before we go into the Shock Treatment, as I say, 1975, sexy, sleazy, great tunes. I think everybody knows, most of the songs from Rocky Horror. You didn't love it when you first watched it, Claire, or did you? Or was it a case of like, you were like, what the fuck is this? And then kind of repeated viewings, or was it just something kind of, you're like, I kind of love this, I'm not sure why?
Claire said, is that Christopher Biggins?
Biggins?
It just, the first time I watched it, I think it was just very bizarre, and I don't think I'd kind of watched something quite like that
Did you
before.
judge Adam when he suggested you watch it?
No, because I always knew that Adam was a bit weird. So he kind of just opened my mind to this sort of musical ridiculousness, which I really enjoyed. And then Tim Curry just ignited something in me that I just never
That
thought.
old sweet transvestite.
Yeah, honestly, dream man. Dream man. If only.
Even more so than Rocky?
Yeah. Oh no, there's no contest, really.
See, I'm more of an Eddie man.
Eddie?
I love Eddie. Meatloaf.
Oh no, thank you.
Jesus.
Dr. Frank-n-Furter or nobody.
See, I have to admit, I like Rocky Horror, and I think it's just because it was one of those films that was too built up for me. And I think like Rocky Horror, I think we have this discussion with some movies. There's a couple of variations in terms of I think there's with the Blu-ray now I had, there's like an American cut of it. There's a couple of like different variations. I know the version that we screened at the Black Box years ago with Gabrielle and Joanne in cosplay mode with people dressed up, and there was a good few Frank-n-Furters having a good few look at a few legs going, yeah, Jesus, big fella, you're a good looking guy. But I had time, I was like, this is actually a little bit long.
Hey.
It's a little bit long, a little bit baggy. But I love it, and everything you said, Tim Curry, great. I think Susan Sarandon, who wouldn't want to touch me. But the moment Meatloaf just rocks up, it is Eddie, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is Eddie. He rocks up, and that voice, I look at it now, I remember talking to Patricia Quinn about this, and it was like the case of like, everyone they were all there, and I think they had been, if I'm right, they had been involved. Most of them were coming over from the stage play.
Yeah.
Meatloaf wasn't.
No.
Susan Sarandon, I would imagine, wouldn't be as well, and probably the actor that played, I don't know what the actor, I think he did. The actor played Lee Majors, not Lee Majors, because he's
Brad.
He's Fall Guy.
Brad Majors.
Yeah, he's in Fall Guy. No, Brad Majors, yes. Barry Bostwick, I think he was involved. Message in, listeners, I think he might have been involved with the stage play. So there's this weird thing of like adapting something. And I've had this issue before with stuff being brought from the stage to the screen. Sometimes it works. I mean, a lot of people love Les Mis. I think Les Mis trying to do something different. I shudder at the inevitability of like a Hamilton movie that will happen at some point. I'd rather go watch the stage play.
Yeah.
Oh, Hamilton is a film, is it not now? Or was it just a live?
Well, I think it's just a live recording of the actual theatre. I mean, there will be an inevitable, Disney will do, like, we're going to do Hamilton the movie, and we'll do the musical numbers. It'll happen.
They've done it for Wicked. It's being released this summer with Ariana Grande. But one thing about, so apparently this might be like, if it comes up on a pub quiz, you can thank me and give me your like £50 free bar tab and chicken wings or something like that.
What if they come last? And that's the only question they got right.
Well, then you can also thank me for that as well. But apparently, the only way they got funding for Rocky Horror to turn it into the film was if an American actress was in it. So that's how they got Susan Sarandon.
Because she was in Transformers, of course.
I'm really bad at pronouncing some surnames. Sharanadon.
Yeah.
Susan Sarandon.
Sarandon.
Yeah.
Sarandon. Well, I hope I'd never have to say that name again.
What was her name again?
Because Susan Megatron, she's still a very attractive woman.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
I thought she was just a Decepticon. I didn't even know she was an actor. Yeah, she's there. I mean, I guess that's, the case of like you getting funded, like a bit like when we were talking last week about Shallow Grave. You look at that film now, Christopher Eccleston and Ewan McGregor were not the stars. It was Kerry Fox.
Yeah, Kerry Fox was the biggest coming from Angels on the Table.
And because she was in it, they were able to get funding for it and able to secure distribution, which meant that the movie can get made. So yeah, you get that. And I guess in the same way, that's why, before I went off on a complete tangent, Meatloaf kind of rocks up. And I think Patricia Quinn talks about either, I can't remember, it was when she was doing a Q&A with me or watching an interview with her, she just remembered hearing his voice for the first time. And he is amazing as Eddie. You can love Tim Curry. I mean, I do generally love Tim Curry. And I've made the point, I'll make it again. Hey, I kept saying about energy when we were talking about Danny Boyle. Tim Curry in this he's a sexy guy. And it's the confidence, and it's effortless in the way. And even that kind of, science fiction double feature. What's the song he's singing when he's in in the pool? I'm going home.
Don't dream it, be it.
Yeah, is that, yeah? And I think, or isn't there one that's by I'm going home near the end?
That's right at the end, isn't it? When Richard O'Brien and your woman turn up with the ray gun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, no, I think he does sing it. So he does the. So they do like the.
I'm going home. Yeah, sorry, not that I googled that. I mean, he's sitting in the pool, and again, it's a brilliant song and it's a brilliant sequence. He is great in it. I'm just disappointed, Claire, that you've never been tempted to go out and seek out Shock Treatment.
After learning about it 14 minutes ago.
I've just looked it up on IMDb, and Shock Treatment has received a 5.7. You think I'm going to search for something like that?
Wow.
That sounds ridiculous, but it also does sound quite interesting.
If someone had pitched you other than Adam Rocky Horror, would you have still sought it out?
I think that it was always meant to be. I was always supposed to find out about Rocky Horror.
So it was just a coincidence Adam was there, dressed as Frank-n-Furter for no apparent reason. Shaved the legs and everything.
He was riffraff. What are you talking about?
No, I could see you as a Frank-n-Furter.
Have you seen my legs?
Yeah.
I'm telling you what.
Not as hot as Danny's.
Absolutely not.
We have to say. I've never, not that I haven't been tempted. I've never watched the stage play.
It's very good. I've seen it 3 times now.
Okay.
Nearly 4. Maybe 4.
Nearly 4?
Nearly 4. Well, I'm trying to I'm trying to do the maths in my head.
Oh, I thought maybe you were like walk out halfway through. Like, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. What's the first bit? Yeah, I've seen the best bit. Or you arrived late.
No, I think I've seen it. Yeah, I have. Wow. I've seen it 4 times now.
Hey, Adam, that was a conversation with Claire with herself.
Incredible.
It's amazing, and every single time I have dressed up as Dr. Frank-n-Furter.
Okay.
And I've got progressively better at doing the makeup and
she's
the costume.
Did it herself.
So each time I get better and better and better at doing the makeup. So do you know what? You should do another screening of Rocky Horror Picture Show. What about a collab with Let's Tits and Ormo Community Cinema or something like that?
And we'll show shock treatment.
And we'll do like a double feature.
Well, this is the thing. I was really disappointed because we did it. It was part of the BFI musical season. We did Rocky Horror, runaway success. It was like, right, we have enough money to do stuff for the next year. And then we did shock treatment, and about 8 people came.
This doesn't surprise me at all because I reckon about 8 people know about the film.
Claire's not poo-pooing shock treatment.
So, I know we're kind of jumping about the place. So, shock treatment, a lot of the cast don't come back. So, we don't have Tim Curry back this time. We don't have Susan Sarandon, whatever Claire wants to call her. Susan Sarandon's not back. So, we have different actors playing some of the roles, but key, I guess, to the whole thing, we have Richard O'Brien, Patricia Quinn, and apologies, there's the other actor from that kind of central trio in Rocky Horror. She is back, but albeit in a smaller role. And it's not my point. It's kind of Mark Kermode talks about this, about shock treatment being way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. Shock treatment predicted Big Brother.
Yeah.
And that idea of basically we would just be 24/7 wanting to watch people, and this kind of this story works, that story works. They have to have a relationship. You've got Janet and we've got Brad, and they're trying to break them up and they're putting them back together. And the songs, even the aforementioned shock treatment itself, I think are a little bit more catchier than... I know we've got Time Warp and all that stuff from the first Rocky Horror. I think shock treatment, it had its problems. It is a flawed film. But I think there's a real brilliant idea in there that is just so far ahead of its time.
So do you think there would be a remake? Like, do you know the way they're remaking everything?
Well, they've kind of done... They haven't remade Rocky Horror, but they've kind of done... I suppose now what they do is it's not remakes, but they just do different versions, like live productions. I think there's one on Disney, I think, where they've kind of got different actors playing the roles. I don't know if you necessarily need a remake, because I'm not this person who's you need a remake for remake's sake. I don't know. I don't think it needs a remake.
A remake of Rocky Horror? Oh, shock treatment? I don't think so. I think, for back then, like Jim says, it was ahead of its time, and it was Richard O'Brien, obviously a very progressive guy, and putting together a shock treatment, which was trying to say something about, TV and...
the way TV was going.
Yeah, the way TV was going. It's like, you watch it and you say, fuck, he really got it right, and...
He's not just that fella from the Crystal Maze.
Do you know what? Do you think that Richard O'Brien is like a time traveller? Because there's a lot of stuff in Rocky Horror as well.
I think he's just a very smart man.
He's actually a Time Lord. He's
Time Lord,
actually
he could
playing
be.
the next Doctor Who.
He's got like Bernard's watch. That could be like one of your next skits.
Liam Neeson stops time.
Well, Susan Sarandon can play in it.
Richard O'Brien.
I think he's just a really clever guy.
You think?
Just a generally... I'm always a bit dubious when you kind of... Isn't there a guy on TikTok who claims to be a time traveller, and it's like, oh, well, this will happen. You're like, bullshit, mate, and then fuck it. But I don't know. I wouldn't say time traveller. I just think Richard O'Brien is just a genius.
Do you know what? I am telling you now, if you go onto Reddit, there is definitely a thread
Fountain of
about
knowledge there.
Richard being a time traveller. The conspiracy theorists are on it.
Yeah, but conspiracy theorists are, tinfoil wires or loop-de-loops.
Broken clocks, as they say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he is. And I will...
I would have loved him as Doctor Who.
Yeah.
He would have been fantastic as Doctor Who. Were you a Crystal Maze or Fort Bayard man, Jim?
I was Crystal Maze.
Were you not Fort Bayard for Tom Baker?
No, not really. I was aware of it. I never watched it. But I just have vivid memories. Channel 4, Crystal Maze, just, that man with his harmonica, just for no real reason. And when you watch it, you're kind of going, yeah, he's just a genius. Just in the sense of what he's doing. It's like, let's just distract dude. This is a bit shit. Let's play the harmonica.
Talking about his mummy.
Yeah, and then they replaced, there was a couple of different hosts. I know Richard Adewadi.
I like the second guy. I don't remember his name. I liked him.
Yeah, because Richard Brand, I think, only did 2-3 series and left. Because I think it's a shame that he's not doing much now. I mean, I think he's living as a recluse.
Yeah.
Now. I think he's completely kind of... Well, maybe he's just went back to his own time, according to Claire.
Of course.
He's busy.
Mm-hmm.
He's busy predicting all the rest of the stuff. Or he could just be living it up with all the money he made from Rocky Horror.
Mm.
Did he make a lot of money, though?
I would say so. Well, yeah, because it's been on stage now. And do they not have to have the rights to all his music?
It depends who owns the rights and who owns the music.
Because he might have sold off a lot of that when Rocky Horror bombed, and he went, "Oh, bye."
Mommy.
I don't know. He's either living it up in the future, or the past.
Richard, if you're listening,
let us know.
Is this another task for Detective Neeson?
If you are listening, message in, because it's just I'm intrigued, having never seen the stage play, and I guess now the stage play is kind of influenced by the movie in that sense. Because I haven't seen it, I can't compare. But you've got so many things about Rocky Horror. You've got the look of Tim Curry, but you've also got the lips as well, the iconic. That's Patricia Quinn. Mm-hmm. And she's talked at nauseam about how that was horrible for her to record, because they literally kind of put her in this kind of thing that she couldn't really move. And I think arguably you would say possibly some of the most famous lips in cinematic history.
Yeah.
I was about to make a deep throat joke.
Yeah. Wrong crowd. Wrong crowd. But yeah, so as I kind of said, just to drop something there, many years ago at the Horror Con that kind of came and went in Belfast, I got the chance to chat and host a Q&A with the lovely Patricia Quinn, and we stayed in touch. We went to London, and it was around the time we were doing our events, and I had said, look, I'm going to try. We actually originally tried to get her over here, and hey, actors know their worth, particularly actors that are on the Comic-Con scene. And she was like, well, I've been offered a Comic-Con in America. They're paying me X amount to come over, and it's a lot of money. I'll not say how much. She's like, if you can beat that, I'll come over for your event. And I was like, there's just no way we could afford that. We talked about maybe even getting a sign-in at the comic book guys, which I'm sure would have made money, with the event, and we'd had to inflate our ticket price, and it was a lot of money. So in the end, what we agreed was that I would go over to London to her rather amazing flat apartment in a nice part of London, and we would do an interview. And she was lovely. We had a chat. We met for a coffee beforehand. We talked a lot about shock treatment, talked a lot about Mark Kermode. She's, if I remember right, the godmother of Damian Lewis. I think that might be a Jim McLean half fact. And we were doing this lovely chat, and we'd finished doing our interview, and she was showing me something out her window, and I had my missus, I had my tripod in my hand. Missus, indeed. And as I was she showed me whatever it was, can't remember what she was saying. Oh, look at this, you can see this from here, from my apartment. And I said, oh yeah, cool. I had the tripod in my hand, and as I was backing up, I knocked over and destroyed her TV.
Oh, Jim.
So I was like, fuck, what do I do? And she's like, oh, is it okay if I had that TV for years? And I was like, yeah. I pulled it back up. I knew that the aerial cable had come loose. I was like, I think that's fucked. She's like, but it's a TV, fine, I can get a guy to fix this. And I was like, what the fuck do I do? I looked, put it up, connected it up, and it was all fine, apart from, like, if you look at a screen, there was like an LCD screen, with like the ink, like the ink mark, just at the top right corner. There was like, you could see where the screen had cracked. And I was, part of me was like, I could just say, yeah, it's fine. Fuck it, it's fine. I could just go home. But I knew, conscience as it was, I was like, Patricia, I am really, really sorry. I have, that your TV's cracked. She's like, oh, what will I do? And I said, look, it's my fuck up. Let's buy you a new TV. Like, where are we going to get this TV? So she drove me, I can't remember if it was a mini or a small car, through the streets of London. I, no word of a lie, thought I was going to die. Thought I was going to die because she literally drove me round at pace, went through a red light and a couple of cars. We went to Sainsbury's and bought her the aforementioned whatever TV it was, same model. I think it was like £500-600. We had to buy, and it was like, right, okay, NVTV will cover a little bit of this for me because I'm there for them. Came back and she's like, I've got a dentist appointment. Can you set this up? So she literally just left me in her house. And I was like, fuck, what do I do? I got it up and running, but couldn't get it tuned in because, you know, the aerial cable, the aerial cable itself, like the coaxial cable had broke. So I was like, I can't go out of her house to get it because I'll be locked out. So I was like, well, what the fuck do I do? I had to just leave. I had to just leave her house. And I remember flying back to London, or flying back from London to Belfast, straight thing, going to Electronics Centre and buying these coaxial cables and saying, I'd written this big long note going, I'm really, really sorry, I'm absolutely embarrassed about this, blah, 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 blah. The least we could do was sort the TV, etc. on us, because it's my mistake. I can't get this coaxial cable fixed for you because I need a part and I can't leave the house. And if I leave your house, I'm going to get locked out unless I leave your door wide open. And it's London. I don't think that's a good idea. Lovely apartment. So came back, Electronics Centre, because I had her address. I then posted it back. And then I got a lovely letter back about 2-3 weeks later saying, you know, what I think she's from the theatre, darling, lovely, whatever it was. I had to get a man to get that fixed, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much. I just opened the letter. And yeah, I once broke Patricia Quinn's TV. So that's the short story that I should have told. But yeah, that was the one and only time where I just for a millisecond wanted to die, Claire. So you've talked about Rocky Horror. You've talked about the live show. How has your costume improved? How are you going to improve it further for future, for Frank-n-Furter performances?
Like, honestly, Speed Transvestite, for all of my friends that know me and see me in like a karaoke sort of vibe, that is my karaoke
like when that
song.
comes on, they're like, oh fuck, here we go again.
Do you know what they actually ask for me to do it? They always tell people that that's my karaoke song. I do put on a really good performance. I feel like what I need to do next is just become Dr. Frank-n-Furter. Like, right. Just like be him in everyday life, and then that'll be me at my best self.
I thought the next stage would have been you performing in a stage production of
oh my
the
goodness,
show.
that would be amazing. I would have, is there any casting directors that listen to this podcast?
Don't know, message in.
I just like that Claire was like, I'll wear his skin and become him.
No, I don't mean, like, I mean just like...
Well, have you done theatre before?
Yeah, back in the day, I did screen acting for a good wee while, and I did like a little bit of theatre as well, but I never...
Musical theatre or just theatre?
Oh, no.
Come on, Claire, give us this is your opportunity now. If there's anyone listening, and we know, I know the kind of local producers that would listen occasionally. There might be someone from Hollywood with one L, but give us a blast now. This is your moment.
Absolutely not. No way. I have a bottle of water in front of me,
but all your friends are like, go on, Claire, do it.
You all just have to come along to karaoke night, and then you'll see it. So there you go. There you
Have
go,
to leave the
guys.
house.
Disappointed, Adam.
Sick. Well, Claire,
While Paul from Ghostbusters Ireland sang the Ray Parker Jr. theme, no bother.
he actually made us get up and do the point and step down Castle Street.
Yeah, Claire's really disappointed. Claire. We thought we'd get a little, like, a wee snippet.
No.
Can
No.
peer pressure him?
You can't peer pressure me.
course you
I'm
can.
not going to do it.
Of course you can. Peer
there-
pressure works all the time. But anyway.
You should probably do it, Claire.
Yeah, well, we're not going to judge you. Never have her back. So, like, what else do we want to talk about, Rocky Horror? I mean, I guess it's that film now that is now, you look at it, is just a symbol, I guess, for kind of queer culture, difference, the being quirky, unique in yourself. A lot of people kind of have modeled themselves, particularly Claire by the sounds, on Frank-n-Furter. And yeah, and I guess that's kind of the shock of the film when it was released. And I guess now it's why it still picks up audiences in 2024. People can sit down, and it's, I guess when you look at what's going on now, when you've got like Drag Race and stuff, we're talking again earlier on, it was just ahead of its time.
Completely agree. It was like the start of New Hollywood, really, wasn't it? And it pokes fun at like sci-fi, B movies.
Well, I don't think it pokes fun at them, but it's also a love and nod to them.
Oh,
as well.
yeah, of course. And as well as that, like the sexual revolution of the 1960s. There's also a lot of stuff about like rock star culture and becoming groupies and all of that stuff as well. It's a really great film, really great film, and I just really enjoy it, and the theatre aspect of it is absolutely incredible as well, and I feel like everyone should at least go and see it once because it's such good interactive theatre. It's like obviously much better than a pantomime, but it's that kind of vibe.
Is it though?
Oh,
May
yes, it
Grand
is.
Opera House. Oh no, it's not. He's behind you.
Oh yes, it is. It's like, I don't know. There's a certain amount of like PC with like pantos because obviously kids are there. Ain't no kids at Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It is kind of funny that like Rocky Horror bombed originally and then became part of the midnight movie revolution in America with stuff like...
Isn't there somewhere that's been in the States has just been showing it continuously?
Yes, I can't remember where it is.
And I can't remember if that was it broken? Did it have to break that during the pandemic, or did they get around that?
I think they had to break up finally. But it was in the list of movies with like David Lynch's Eraserhead and John Waters' Pink Flamingos. And to see any of those movies at midnight must have been a real mindfuck. But like the modern day, can you show this to modern day kids and will they enjoy it? Probably not. It does.
Well, it depends what you mean with kids. I think you could show that to a group of like 16-year-olds, and I think they'll still get it.
I think it really just
maybe a 5-year-old. Nah.
Oh yeah, of course not. Of course not.
Walkie Hawa. It really just appeals to a specific mindset, like Claire. Like would you have sat down and seen Shock Treatment on like film form, but like, what's this shape? Whereas, like, would a teenager sit down and watch this?
I think a teenager would sit down and watch Rocky Horror.
Yeah, I think so.
I do. I genuinely do in that sense. But it comes, Rocky Horror now comes with, not baggage, but it's like that film now. It's like, I mean, I've heard people talk about this. This is one of those films, you've got to see. I think a teenager who's interested in movies, it's that sense, Jim Tangent, Edith P.F., please play at some point to get us out of this tangent. It's like in Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. When you watch it now, it's a great horror film. I love it, but it's like it doesn't feel real because it's like there's like, you tell me there's no black people in the first Nightmare on Elm Street. And that's I think it's up until 3.
Yes,
I think you get of someone of color being a central part of the narrative. But I think with with Rocky Horror, without getting deep and meaningful as we sometimes do, or I'm about as shallow as a puddle, it's that sense of Rocky Horror in its own little way, by trying to show people being different and queer culture, it's you're still representing people. So I think you look at the amount of like drag queens now are still kind of influenced by Tim Curry, by Apologies, the name from John Waters, Divine. You think about I still think you will see, because it's that sense of a film like Rocky Horror in its own little way. It's about rebelling, against the system. You've got Janet and you've got Brad. They are the squares.
Yeah.
And then you've got the kind of sleazy, kind of Patricia Quinn, Tim Curry, as we've mentioned. You've got them kind of showing, here, come on down, get a bit dirty. It's like the David Lynch kind of thing. The opening of, not Blue Velvet, or is it Blue Velvet? When you kind of have that opening and you've got the perfect suburbia. And then
Blue Velvet,
you kind of zoom in and it's all horrible and nasty and it's all worms and it's like, we'll show you the sleazy side. Mm-hmm. But nobody wants to be Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet. Baby wants to fuck.
Pabst Blue Ribbon Man.
Is it Baby wants to fuck?
Daddy wants Blue Velvet.
Yeah. It's you seen Blue Velvet?
No. I don't think so.
There's two films, but I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my arse. Maybe a teenager would watch it and be like, "What the fuck is this nonsense?" But I think you could set a teenager down to watch Rocky Horror.
I think the most unfortunate thing about Rocky Horror is that, like, I haven't seen the stage show, so I'm not going to be like this. My point is made in stone. Is that Tim Curry excels in that role so well that either the person playing Frank-n-Furter either is a copy or struggles to top Tim Curry. Like, has there been anybody
you've seen at least?
Yeah.
So who's been the Frank-n-Furters you've seen?
So there's 3 of the times. Actually, wait. Has it been
don't forget, it was nearly 4.
It was, yeah.
Has it been all 4 times that it's the same guy playing Dr. Frank-n-Furter? I think it is. I might follow him on Instagram. I can't remember his name right now.
Jason Donovan.
No, it's not him. But it's this guy, and he has played
Colin Geddes.
No, but he has played Dr. Frank-n-Furter like on repeat, like nearly as many times as the guy that plays Riff Raff. The guy that plays Riff Raff, and he's played Riff Raff every single time I've went to see Rocky Horror as well.
Did you just go 4 times the same show, like in the space of 4 days?
No, do you know what? I think it was. I first seen it in like 2015 maybe, and then the last time I saw it was 2021.
Because I know it was here recently, or it's coming back. I think it was here last year.
It was.
I saw it 2 years ago. I brought my friend. I told her it was. I brought my friend Kathy, and I told her it was like a Christian sort of panto style thing. She loved it.
You're a nice person, Claire.
She loved it. But yeah, no, it was the same Riff Raff, and I'm nearly certain it was the same Frank-n-Furter. See,
because they're dressed up in the same way, it might not be the same people.
Oh no! Like it's because I follow them on Instagram, guys. But yeah, like he adds his own spin to it. I still think I would probably be better though on stage playing Dr. Frank-n-Furter. I can sing. I just need like a few beers beforehand. Maybe a shot of Sambuca.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's loads of things we can go into the kind of making of. Because I remember Patricia Quinn kind of saying this. I said, so how do you find the evolution from the script from the stage to the movie? And she's like, my darling, there was no script. It was all in Richard O'Brien's head. And you're like, yeah, I get that. I can totally get that. It's a pretty, as I would say, it's a perfect film in its own right. I don't love it as much as others, but it's simply for the fact I came to it through so many people. It's that sense of, and I've been that person with my lovely wife and other people going, my God, you've got to watch this. And you're sitting watching the film and you turn around and they're not watching the movie, just watching you. Every reaction going, why is he not laughing at this point? Why is he not crying at this point? Why is he not got an erection? Tim Curry's on screen, all that kind of stuff. And I love it, but I just know there's other people out there love Rocky Horror. Clearly, Claire McCullough much more than I would.
See, this is you have to go see it in theatre, because I reckon it would like just ignite a real love for it.
I love the theatre. I'm looking forward to, by the time this pod goes out, I will have went to see The Woman in Black, and I'm really excited about that because I've never seen that before in the stage play. I love the book. I love the original BBC Channel 4 movie. I love the Daniel Radcliffe one. I know there's a terrible sequel that kind of does more generic thing, but I'm looking forward to seeing that on the stage. I know it's not so much a movie adaptation, but I know there was the Sister Act musical. Different thing. I know it was all right. I know later this year I'm going with my lovely mum to go see Pretty Woman.
Oh, I saw that in London. That was so good.
Going to see that, and we actually went to see Dirty Dancing last year, and I thought Dirty Dancing was quite clever in what it tried to do and taking something from the movie to the screen, to the stage. I've never seen. It's like Grease. I've never seen Grease on stage.
Oh, I have. It was good. I love
Grease the musical. Grease is probably my Rocky Horror. In that sense. I came to Grease when I was maybe not, I didn't get it, maybe I didn't get it, but I came to it naturally. I was on TV, I watched it, and then Grease 2 was on. It's like, holy fuck, what a classic Grease 2 is. Better than the first, but hey, we'll not pull on that thread. But Grease was the musical, that kind of thing, I came to naturally. Rocky Horror I came to because people told me you needed to watch Rocky Horror.
Oh, okay. So what's your favourite musical of all time? Would that be Grease?
I do love Grease. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'd probably say Grease in terms of musical. There's probably a few Disney. There's probably a few Disney movies in there if you count those as musicals. But yeah, off the top of my head, just probably... Actually, no. My favourite musical, off the top of my head, South Park.
Yeah.
Bigger, longer, uncut.
That is a musical, I'll give you that. And what is your favourite theatre production? So it can be musical, it can be stage, or like it doesn't have to
Favourite
have
thing I've ever seen on
music.
the stage ever would be the play from here, Night in November. One-man play. Paddy Keelty. I think I went to see Paddy Keelty. There was like, Paddy Keelty, he's always playing this film. I think I went to see it about 3-4 times. But a guy, Protestant guy, growing up in East Belfast, horrified when he goes to a Republic game, a Northern Ireland Republic game, horrified, can people all make things in the past? I think I remember right, the Greysteel murders, comes home, set in 94, decides to go off to watch the Republic of Ireland play at the World Cup in USA. And I'll not spoil, there's stuff at the end of the film. Oh, it is one of my favourite plays. I mean, I did theatre when I was younger and then kind of gave it up. I never would be the level I could do a one-person show. But, I mean, fuck, it's just about struggle to be in normal shows. But, yeah, I love that. I thought it was amazing. What about you? What about you guys? Favourite musicals? Favourite stage? Favourite kind of trip to the theatre, darling? Love the Panto. Love Sleeping Beauty. Great. May McFetridge. Never looked hotter.
Favourite musical, The Producers.
Damn it, yeah. Damn it, Janet.
And favourite stage performance I've ever seen was probably 1995, and it was a turn double act of the Chuckle Brothers and Cannonball.
Oh, mate, you are living the dream. That is unreal. Oh, if you throw Timmy Mallet in there, that's like the perfect day out for me.
I don't, like, I was, not that I was too young, but when you have like those vivid memories as a child that you can think. I remember being at that and everybody being like, yay, the Chuckle Brothers. And then when Cannonball walked out, everybody be like, who's this?
Proud Cannonball.
They were good. Do you remember Cannonball, Claire?
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer for Claire. No. No.
Yeah.
You a big Timmy Mallet fan?
Yeah, love it. Love it. Him.
Mallet's Mallet.
Mallet. Love Mallet.
If you don't not keeping up on the old Timmy Mallet news?
No.
You know what Timmy Mallet is?
Yeah.
Well, let me just remind you, just in case.
Just look at her phone there to go Google it. She goes, who is Timmy Mallet? So, Claire, while you're doing that, I know you've kind of probably answered these questions. Your favourite musical and your favourite live theatre?
Yes, no, I do know Timmy Mallet, the guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
That's him,
Aye.
Oh, he's a bit of an idiot. Yes, I do remember him. What TV show was he on?
Mallet's Mallet.
Great. and he's.
I was just thinking, yeah, it's
Fuck you, Jim.
That's your childhood.
He was on I'm a Celebrity.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you're thinking of Christopher Biggins.
No, Timmy Mallet.
He was not on I'm a Celeb, I don't think.
Is that not him there?
No, what? That's not McPartlin.
No, it's not. Anyway, my favourite musical. It's a real. So, I went to see Phantom of the Opera in London. 30 seconds of the start of it, I was in tears. Like, it was absolutely amazing.
Because you went out dressed as Frank-n-Furter and your family got you the wrong gig. I wanted to go see Rocky Horror.
No, it was just the atmosphere. It was just, you're completely transported inside it. It's crazy. So I cried so many times watching it for just the kind of parallels between her like missing her father and things like that. Is really, really like heartbreaking. And then I went to see Moulin Rouge in the West End for my 30th birthday with like my mum, my best friend, and my sister, and it was absolutely outstanding. So it's a real toss up between Rocky Horror, Moulin Rouge, because I remember whenever I was a kid, like me and my cousins and all, we would watch Moulin Rouge, and then we would make my granda stop everything he was doing and reenacted the Moulin Rouge while he sat there with a whiskey.
I thought you were going to say you're going to get your granddad to reenact it.
No, yeah.
Do you know who Pink is, granddad? Yeah, right.
Like, dear love him, he was just sitting there. Of course, he's probably like a few whiskeys deep by this stage in the day.
Or a few absinthes
or
deep if
maybe,
you're going
yeah.
full on Moulin Rouge and Kylie Minogue's popping up.
I bet he wished he was watching her over.
Talking, I took a turn. Just on that, I remember the very first film I ever saw at the Queen's Film Theatre was Moulin Rouge. I was just come up at uni, and I probably blubbed my eyes out. And we were with a group of like 6 people. We all went out from the dorms because we didn't really know each other. I was like, let's go out to the cinema. That'll be fun.
Sorry, just to keep in canon of our podcast, were you on a date?
No, I wasn't on a date. Well, maybe they were taking me on a date. It was 6. There was 4 girls and 2 other fellas.
Hell yeah.
So, it was some date anyway. But we went to see Moulin Rouge, and we were all there. And the aforementioned end, which will not spoil, in Moulin Rouge, I blubbed my eyes out.
It's absolutely devastating.
And I never got invited to the cinema ever again. So it was a terrible date. But yeah, I do love Moulin Rouge. Funny, talking about stage plays as this pod takes a bit of a tangent. A friend of mine was waxing lyrical about how they went to London recently and saw Cabaret on the West End and said it was absolutely fab.
Unreal. I'm going to London next month at the end of June to see Romeo and Juliet, and Tom Holland is playing Romeo. I was in. Is Adam all right?
Everywhere.
I was in the queue for this.
Will he be wearing a Spider-Man
tickets.
costume when he's doing it?
No, obviously not, darling. But I was in the queue for this for like 6 hours on my phone trying to get tickets. And do you never get like on your phone? It was coming up. Odd days are starting to sell out and stuff. And by the end of the 6 hours, like, whenever I first entered the queue to get tickets, I was like, do you know what? If it sells out, I'm not really that bothered. By the end of the 6 hours, I was like, by hell or high water, I am going to this play. All the cheap tickets had sold out. I paid £125 each for tickets to go and see this. It better be good. Tom, if you're listening, I want a good performance.
There might be a Tom Holland listening, but not necessarily the Tom Holland. The wee Tom Holland.
I think it'll be good. Like he came from the theatre, right? Yeah. That's where he started out.
I thought he was just directing, Fright Night and stuff like that.
Oh, Fright Night 2.
Yeah.
There's a different Tom Holland.
Psycho 2.
There's a director, Tom Holland.
Oh, real? Oh, no, Spider-Man, Tom Holland.
Well, that's all he can do, isn't it? Yeah. Unfortunately.
So that's us. So that's pretty much us out of time on a rambly pod.
Well, we could talk more about Pee Wee Herman, but we'll not. That's for next time.
Yeah, Claire, you must be very disappointed. You thought we'd get a lot of Pee Wee Herman references in.
I did actually think that there was going to be a Pee Wee Herman reference.
But instead, we just learned that boys don't read and they can't come. So, on that note, all that's left for me to do is thank you very much, Adam.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks very much, Claire.
Thanks, Jim.
That's us. So, that's us out of time. We'll be back next week with another episode. But for now, until then, goodbye.